Hey guys, earlier I told you about some confusion I had over the Uber Eats delivery fee that I had received for two different orders, and I was confused what was causing the difference. And as I was editing that video, I realized something, and so I wanted to share that with you today. But stick around because after shooting all of that, I had another issue. And I want to tell you about this because I'm assuming it's something that's happened before, judging by what the customer service agent told me. So I want to let you know in case you ever run into this, that way you know how this happens. So, first, let's talk about that delivery fare from this morning's orders. As I was editing the video, I realized if you look at the IHOP order, it shows that that order came in at like 4:19 or something like that. I don't remember the exact time. I'll pop that image up on the screen though so that you can see it. But it occurred to me that order had probably been out there for some time before they sent it to me, because either there weren't enough drivers available or people were rejecting it because it was so far north. Um, there's not a lot of restaurants out that way, so probably other people were passing that one up because they didn't want to drive that far and then have to drive all the way back to the hotspot areas. So when I first logged into the app, it gave it to me right away, and I went straight to the restaurant and picked it up. Well, anyway, it looks like from the time that order was placed to the time I got it delivered, there was probably like an hour in between there. So I don't think the food had been sitting there for that long, but I think IHOP was waiting for a driver. So that's why they probably bumped up that delivery fee. Not to mention that it was at 4 something in the morning. So they probably do pay a little extra for certain hours of the day, is what I'm assuming. So I think that's what was going on with that one. Let me know what you guys think. Now, for the other issue, um, after everything slowed down today, I did go spend some time with my mom today, and we went to go visit my grandma at the nursing home and everything. So that was great. And then on my way back, I turned Uber Eats back on, and it immediately gave me an order for Firehouse subs, and I was 2.5 miles away from there. So I went ahead and took it. It was going to be delivered way out in Ulaga, which was quite a long trip, but it said it was going to pay $17. So I was like, okay, I don't mind. I'll do that real quick before I head home for the day. So I got to Firehouse subs, and when I got in there, they said I was the sixth person to try to come pick up that order. And I was like, what? Why? And so I confirmed everything with them. I went over the order number. I went over what was on the order, the customer's name, everything. They were like, yeah, somebody picked that up an hour ago, but there have been 5 other people before you come in here since it's been picked up trying to pick up the same order. I was like, well, that's crazy. So I got back in my truck and I called Uber support. I tried to do it through the app and it kept saying, do you want to cancel this order? Well, Uber has a cancellation rate, and I'm already fighting with them about one that it was like on my first day of ever doing Uber Eats, it canceled an order out for me, and that restaurant literally did not exist. And so right now it's showing that I have a 4% cancellation rate, and that's driving me crazy because I've never canceled an order. But this one particular restaurant literally did not exist. There was no phone number for the customer, there was no phone number for the restaurant. And when I was in the app and I was trying to figure out what to do, I was trying to report it that that restaurant wasn't there. The only option it gave me was to cancel the order. And so I reported it to support. I've been going back and forth with support all this time, and trying to explain to them that that restaurant does not exist. I've lived in this town my entire life, and I went there anyway, just thinking, well, maybe there's a food truck set up in that parking lot or something. There wasn't. I drove all over the place, And I did everything I could have to try to find the restaurant. And since there was no phone number, what else was I supposed to do? So anyway, today though, when it said that, do you want to cancel this order? I was like, heck no, because I don't want to mess up my cancellation rate even more. So I called support and talked to an agent and explained the situation to her and everything. And she said, so you want me to go ahead and cancel this? I said, no, I don't, because I don't want this to affect my cancellation rate, because this was not my fault. And she said, oh, no, no. And she said, it won't. I'll clear it out so that you can continue getting other orders, but we'll make sure it doesn't affect your cancellation rate. And then she asked me, is there anything else I can help you with today? And I said, no, but I am curious, how does this happen exactly? So she explained it to me, and it makes total sense. So she said, when the first person that picked up that order, like an hour earlier, when they picked it up, and once you pick it up, you have to do complete pickup, and then it gives you your delivery instructions. Like my first day to ever do it, I was really confused because I thought when I slid across on the complete pickup, I was afraid it was going to like zero everything out. But then I finally realized that you have to complete the pickup and then it gives you delivery instructions. And then once you've delivered it, then you have a thing to mark off complete delivery. So anyway, it was probably a newer driver that was doing that order, but instead of completing the pickup, they canceled the pickup. So they probably got the order delivered, but she said what happened was um, it filtered it back to the restaurant. And so when that happened, it searched for another driver. When that driver got there and they were told somebody else already picked it up, when they went back to the app, they just hit cancel, and then it sent it to another, because according to the app's still thinking that this food still hasn't been delivered. So it kept getting more and more drivers. And so then I asked her, I said, oh, okay, so I'm the first one to actually call in. Is that why it kept going out? And she said, yes, exactly. So if you ever do have that situation happen, make sure you call in instead of just canceling it, because if you cancel it, it doesn't register, it's still electronic. It doesn't have the brain capacity of a human being yet. So it's still thinking that that food hasn't been delivered when you cancel the order. So it keeps looking for another driver. So that's why I was technically the seventh person to go in and try to pick that up. I was the sixth person after the original person, but that's why it kept going to all of these different drivers, because none of them were actually calling in to report it. They were just canceling it, which made the app think that the food still had not been delivered. So there's that. So if you ever do have that issue, just keep that in mind to make sure you call it in so that they know to clear it out so that it doesn't keep going to other drivers. Or if you ever run into that situation where you show up to pick an order up and they say someone else has already picked it up, now you know why that happens. But definitely go ahead and be the person that calls it in so that it doesn't keep going to more and more drivers, unless you just want to be rude about it. I don't know. But we're not like that. We're second milers, so don't do that. You want to go the second mile, right? Okay, that is it for today's update. We are coming up on the weekend. I'm hoping that we get to get a lot of things done this weekend out at the homestead. So if you are interested in that journey, make sure you go check out our other channel, Second Mile DIY, and I will link that at the end of this video. And until then, remember to go the second mile today for someone in your life and with your resources. Love you guys.